Dr. MP.
No, the thing
Dr.
is,
MM.
the thing is, I hear you.
Yeah, boy.
Can I get a top up, please? Before
Come on now, dog. Come on, man.
Good morning, good evening, good day, good morning, good Milan, cheers. I wonder how many questions Greg have. Yeah, I don't have any. I'm just gonna go with his flow.
For the past 30 years,
Yeah.
everything is up for grabs.
I don't think you have the facilities for that, big man.
See, either way, it's not like I'm looking for a job. Eh?
How long have we been talking? 30 minutes. Oh, damn it. Yeah. Hey, we have stories, yeah.
Hi everyone, welcome to P Square Podcast. And if you don't know what the podcast is about right now, I'm kind of hurt. I'm very disappointed, but we'll continue. Today, I have my main man here, Dr. Mpumelelo Matsena.
Yeah.
So just to get him to calm the nerves down, we're just gonna play a game first before we continue. So yeah, here I'm gonna pull out the deck.
Okay.
You're gonna choose like 5 cards.
Okay.
Then then you don't have to look at them. I'll just pull any 5 random cards.
Makes sense.
There you go. Let's see.
So what are these cards about?
It's just our moments. You see, it's the kids version.
Okay.
So just you just see the question I'm gonna ask you. Just pick.
Let's see. Let me pick this one.
Okay.
So I need to pick 5.
Yeah, 5.
2, 3.
Let's go another deck. No, another show.
Let's see. 4. 5.
Okay, 5. Okay, cool. There you go.
Okay.
The one we're asking you. And you know how it is. Don't
Yeah.
hold back. Answer whatever comes into your head first.
Okay.
So, cool, yes.
Yeah.
Let's see. The first one that I have. If you could live in any state, which would you choose? Why? So let's say our state, I guess we'll say our province.
No, province.
Yeah.
I think for me, I would like to try Cape Town.
Oh, Cape Town. So Western Cape.
I've never been there, but I would like to try it. I think the scenery of Cape Town and the landmarks that are there.
Yeah.
I think it's a nice place. It will be a nice place for me to live in.
Yeah.
But I hear it's very costly, so maybe I need to work triple times.
Yeah, but the man is turning 30 next week. So happy birthday to him.
Yeah,
And just leave in the
thanks,
comments there, happy birthday, even though it will be late, but still
Yeah.
it counts.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
you're turning 30 next week. Why don't you just go there?
I think for me, how can I put it? Just because I'm turning 30 doesn't mean it'll still be a normal day for me. I think if I do get an opportunity for me to go that side, I will take it. But normally I don't tie in my celebratory moments with specific dates, or if I want to do it, I just do it. So I think for now I haven't really gotten myself up to that point where I want to visit. So
Okay.
I'm not.
But I guess
maybe one day.
End of this year.
Yeah, maybe end of this year.
Yeah.
End of this year. Yes.
Moving to your next one. If you could have a conversation with anyone in history, who would it be? Choose.
I think for me, it's multiple people.
Yeah.
It's multiple people, but
If you choose one.
How can I put it? It's multiple people. So let me narrow it like this. So, for an example, in my life, I think I would like to have a conversation with my mom.
Oh, okay.
If I can put it like that. I think she's someone that I hold dearly in my heart, you know. And I think since she has left us, I still carry the memories, but if I'm given a chance to have a conversation, then it will be her, right?
Yeah.
But again, I think for me, one of the other things that fascinate me, you know, obviously it's music.
Yeah, music.
So in terms of music, there's this guy called John Coltrane, you know. He's a jazz saxophonist.
Okay.
I think it would be nice to just pick his mind up, you know, the things that guy is an amazing jazz musician. So
Yeah.
I'd like to pick his mind up. And then in terms of science, man, I think that's one of the things that I also enjoy. And one of the guys that I would like to pick their minds is obviously Einstein.
Okay.
I think,
For some reason, I knew you were gonna say.
yeah, because for me, I don't know, man. That guy was, I'm not sure if he was just crazy or what was happening, but
You have to be crazy to do something out there.
you get what I'm saying. And for me, if you look at the things that he has done during his time,
Yeah.
you know, theoretical physics at that point, no instruments were there to sort
Yeah.
of prove whatever he was thinking. And for him to have, you know, come up with those things, I would just like to sit down with him and say, hey, man, really, what are you thinking? What was happening here, you know?
Yeah.
So I think those are the three aspects of my life. I mean, I really enjoy science. I really enjoy music. And I also enjoy, you know, my family. So
Yeah.
I think those three people,
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
Yeah, and I can see like you feel touched about your mom, so
Yeah. No, it's not a touching
Yeah.
thing. I think it's one of those things where you know people who have touched you in your life.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, okay. Cool. Third one. What's the hardest thing about being a boy? Hey, if it was a girl question.
Being a boy.
Yeah.
Can't we just translate it to being a man? I mean,
Okay,
it's been a while since I've been a boy, so I don't think I'll be able to answer that. But I think being a man, what I've found challenging, you know, is that when you are a man, you sort of forcing yourself to face every challenge without approaching it on an aspect where you're considering your emotions.
Yeah.
Right? And you find that sometimes you just want to sit down and really be in touch with your emotions, but you can't. Because as a man, you have to face a situation and come up with a plan and make it work. Right?
Yeah.
So for me, I think throughout my life, actually, since I started being a man, you know, it had been a thing where I really had to, even though I want to be in touch with my emotions, but there's no time for that.
Yeah.
Right? There's no time for that. You need to make a decision and you need to approach your challenges head on.
Exactly.
You know, and I think it's nice that in these times that we are living in, it's really inculcated in men to actually be in touch with their emotions, because once you end up doing that frequently, a lot of times what starts happening is, I don't know, man, maybe when you turn 30 you get broken. You know?
By a simple comment someone made out there.
You know,
Yeah,
so I think for me the challenging part about being a man is really it's difficult to really be in touch with your emotions because of the perception that as a man how you need to behave, right?
Yeah. Again, like from my side, it would be like I feel like being in touch is like you deviating from taking action.
Yeah.
Just do it there and then. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. You learn from it. You move on. You move forward.
Yeah,
So,
but maybe let me ask you then: is should it be like that?
what?
Should it be like that, where as a man you really always need to face your challenges and not really just sit down and be in touch with your emotions?
For me, just try to minimize it. Just have a safe circle of people or environment where you can just, be vulnerable. Like, this is what's happening.
Yes.
Not all the time, everywhere you go, you discuss with someone, oh, I'm hurt today. No. Just have that safe environment.
But
if the way you deal with emotions or how you feel is by talking to a therapist, do that. If it's by talking to your girlfriend, your wife, do that. If it's going to the gym and you don't like talking about emotions at all, keep it to yourself, go to the gym, work it out. That's it.
Yeah.
But being focusing on the emotional part as a man, you'll never get things done. And period. If Einstein was feeling like, today,
but
I don't have any instruments.
but I can tell you that's the challenging part. I mean, really, I feel like men really needs to be in touch with their emotions. They shouldn't be afraid of it,
Yeah.
And I'm not saying don't be a man, in terms of facing your challenges and head on and not really, moaning about things or really considering the aspect of how you feel about certain things, right? I'm not saying don't be that don't be that person, but all I'm just saying is if you have an opportunity and you feel like really things are tough and this main part I'm struggling with it, stop, face your emotions, and you'll come back the next time to be a man, I guess.
Okay.
Yes.
We're going too deep into psychological and emotional stuff, and this is not about that. Too much personal. Moving forward, was anyone kind to you today?
Today, really, today I just, okay, no, let me not lie. Yes.
Yeah, someone was kind to you.
No, someone was kind to me today. Yes.
You feel comfortable to say their name?
No, it's my girlfriend, so yeah.
Girlfriend, thank you.
Yeah, no.
Be nice to this man. He's a very nice man.
Yeah, the thing is with me, like, I really don't, how can I put it? I don't talk to a lot of people.
Yeah.
So, so the person that I normally talk to, it's my girlfriend, my grandmother.
She's here in Secunda?
No. Not in Secunda.
Okay.
My grandmother, my cousins sometimes,
Okay.
Then once in a while I do call my dad and and a few friends, but my circle is very small here.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah. Last one. If you could change one thing about your appearance, what would it be?
Let me it's not like I don't want to answer that question, right? But the type of a person I am is I appreciate myself, right? I appreciate who I am with my flaws and everything, And it's not like I'm trying to run away from the question, but throughout my life, like, I've never had a moment where there were certain things I didn't like about myself, you know. Even if there are flaws, obviously I have to acknowledge them and try and, work on them. But that doesn't mean that I get to a point where I say, no, I don't like this and not what, you know. So, I don't have any.
You don't have any?
No.
Okay, cool, yes. Yeah, so we're done with the question.
Okay.
So embrace yourself for hard questions come. I'm kidding. So, like, on a daily basis, what would you say is your therapy? And I'm trying to take out something out of you. I'm taking out your grandmother. I'm taking out your girlfriend. What is your therapy?
So when you say therapy, is things that make me...
Yeah, things that you tend to go to. Maybe you feeling stressed or on your good day, or like you need to relax. Are you watching something or you reading something? Yeah, what is it? Like, what is your therapy?
Yeah, I think for me, things where I find, peace in, I told you I like music, but specific type of music. So I like jazz. So that's one of the things where I really used to sort of relax. But again, with me, I know most people will say still work or something, right? But for me, like I really like research, right? And in as much as I'm no longer doing much of it currently, I'm still doing it, but not much of it. But research is like in me, right? And any time that I get just to relax, I get out there, read papers from the guys that are publishing in my field of expertise, just to see the current updates of what's happening, right? Yes. And then again, I like, for me, just to what I do on a daily basis to wind up, I just like reading current affairs, just knowing what's happening around the world, being in touch again. Because for me, what I've realized is that sometimes as a person, right, you find that you are so clued up to what you are doing, right, that you start being out of touch with certain things. So for me, to keep myself in touch with what's happening around the world and what's affecting people, things like that, I try and read on the current affairs and follow the.
So just I guess like reading, doing research and stuff like that. That's
and music.
Yeah, music.
Yes.
Okay, cool, super. Are you like a religious person?
I wouldn't
say
say
in that environment, or how does it work?
Yeah, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say I'm a religious person. For me, I think in terms of my beliefs, I do believe that there's a higher being, and I do believe that there is God. But at the same time, I do believe that there is ancestors, right? For me, I do believe in that. So, so I wouldn't say I'm really a religious person per se, but spiritual, can say yes to that one.
Okay, so you say yes to that one.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Then just trying to pick your mind on this one. When I say the word mistakes, what comes into your head? What comes into your mind?
Mistakes. Let's see. I think for me, in my life, right? I've never. How can I put it? I've never done things that when I look back, I say, this was a mistake,
What is it? You look back and like, oh, this was a lesson.
This was a lesson, right? Okay. And one of my lessons, maybe let's answer the lessons part, because the mistake will be difficult for me, right? Because I've never looked into my life and said, okay, I've done this mistake, I've done that, and I've experienced certain things which have actually taught me certain lessons. And obviously when you get a lesson, it's something for you to work on, right? So maybe let's touch on my lessons, right? So one of my lessons that I really got onto, and I was still young, right? And when you are young, how can I put it? There's certain things you are young, you're not expected to know, right? Give you an example, right? Certain lesson that I learned was if you have loved ones, right? Now I guess we old, something that we understand. But if you have loved ones, I learned it when I was still young. Really appreciate people who are in your life, and how that was a lesson to me. Give you an example. So this is a personal experience, right? Professional, personal. So I'll touch on the personal case. So I was young, and it was a matter of it had been a while since I've seen my mom, right? So when I met her, it was really in a, but I met her just in a quick type of a thing, right? Really, it was really quick, right? And I remember it that so vividly that I met her, but there was something happening in my mind where I had to, like, when you have to go meet up friends and all those things.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? That was what was in my mind at that time, right? Then what happened is it was the last time that I saw her. After maybe a week, you get news, right? Still young, that, okay, your mom is no longer there. So think about it. You are young. It doesn't make sense to you. And you're like, okay, what's happening? And things like that, But as you grow old, it's something now that starts to touch you, right? Because you start thinking to say, okay, look, maybe that moment was a moment that that person maybe wanted to say goodbye to you,
Yeah.
And you were busy here, your mind and what. So it's for me, it was really that's why initially when I started speaking, I was like, as a man, be in touch with the emotions. Because as I grew older, then I started to realize that actually that moment was a moment that I grappled with, because yes, I was young, but maybe if I would have taken that time, to just really have a long conversation, I wouldn't be feeling like how one would feel. So for me, it was a big lesson to say, people who are in your life, and especially if you appreciate them, in as much as you are a professional, you have all these things happening in your life, you are traveling, you are doing all these things, remember that people who are really close to you, when they call you, when you talk to them, everything stops. Take that time to just appreciate them, because you might not know. Tomorrow you wake up and it's a difficult situation,
Yeah.
So for me, that is one of my lessons. I don't know. Do you want me to touch on another one?
No. That's great. I can't add on that. Just appreciate the people that are in your life. This thing of like, I'm busy, or I have to do this, I have to do that. Make time.
Yeah.
Might be a last time, like the man said.
Yes.
So just appreciate the people in your life. Yeah, I get that. Yeah, but I guess again you touched like on your childhood a little bit and stuff.
Yeah.
Looking from childhood and the person that you are right now, do you see Dr. Mpumelelo? Or you were just like
yeah, for me, okay, let me introduce myself,
Introduce yourself.
So for me, I'm a Kasi boy, right? I grew up in Thembisa, obviously with my, like, I traveled a lot with my mom and things like that.
Yeah.
So I first stayed in Vosloorus, then after that I moved into Thembisa, right? But at Thembisa, like, I stayed in areas like people in Thembisa will know, stayed in areas like Po, okay. And then after that I moved to an area in Thembisa, it's called Mfuyaneni, that's where my grandmother stays. Then after that, just around Thembisa, there's an area called Bechekas. Then I also stayed there, right? So, but when I was young, most of my time I spent it in Mfuyaneni, right? Okay. And obviously, really, primary, you never think of yourself that highly of what you wanna. Maybe you wanna be a policeman or a pilot. Those are the standard things, when you're young, right? But once you get to high school, starts hitting you. What do I mean when I say it starts hitting you? When you grew up in an area like Thembisa, right? You start having dreams bigger than you.
Yeah.
Right? And some dreams might seem small, right? But you find that because of the area that you are in, those things are bigger than you.
Exactly.
Right? And for me, it was one of those things where when I started getting exposure to certain things, I realized that, hey, actually some things, maybe they are bigger than us, right? And I never phantomed that, I would be in a position or an area that I'm in, right? And for me, when I started getting a realization of what I sort of want to be was maybe grade 9 or 10, right? Weirdly so, me, I was never a really into books, if I can put it like that. Right. I did
books for someone who's into reading a lot.
But really, when I say books like academic stuff and all that, really, I wasn't really into that. Yeah. So, but weirdly so, in as much as I wasn't into that, I was really I just enjoyed the numbers, right?
Numbers, okay.
So I would go to library. I mean, I remember that time, I didn't even know what calculus was and things like that, but I would go to library and just open a calculus book and things like that. So I was really into numbers, but I wasn't a person who likes studying and things like that. So, and again, in terms of my marks, if I were to show you my reports, then, they just bad, But one thing that happened is when I got to grade 10, actually, let me start it the year before, grade 9, right? Grade 9, I met, so I was, in grade 8, I was in a school called Ingayizivele, right? Then grade 9, I was like, you know what? I want to switch and go to a school called Gianna Secondary School. The main reason for that was Gianna Secondary School was close and most people I knew were there. So that was the reason why I transferred, Okay. I was like, hey, I want to transfer. My guys are in Gianna. I'm going to Gianna, right? Then when I got there, I met this guy. We came the same time, His name is Greglephuthing, right? I met him. This guy enjoyed maths like nobody's business, right? Really, that guy enjoyed maths like nobody's business. And he sort of, even though I was, I like numbers and things like that, but he made me fall more in love with numbers, right? Yeah. And then after we were done with grade 9, we moved to grade 10, me and him, right? And then when I got there, so we started doing subjects like physics, obviously, and maths. So with maths, always consult my guy here, and then I started obviously falling in love with it, and I started being good in maths, and it was mainly because of him, to tell you the truth, because he was the one always helping me. I'm like, hey man, I don't understand, what is this, always helps me, right? But weirdly so, when I started now being involved in the subject of physics and things like that, I started now doing well also in that part, right? Other subjects, really, I was a mess. But when it came, I was a mess, right? But when it came to maths and physics, I really started being, doing well in those, right?
So what is doing well here?
Yeah, no.
The average.
Okay, so in physics, right?
Give me a range.
Okay, I was 90, right? So no, the thing is 90s and things like that, right? Like really, I was brilliant in those two subjects. The other subjects I was bad, 50s and things like that. But those subjects I was really good. Though. I'm telling you. Really, if you ask people who know me, they'll tell you, right? So now, that's when I realized that actually I really enjoy these two subjects, right?
Yeah.
But at that time, I had known what chemical engineering is and things like that.
So you knew what chemical engineering is?
Yeah, I knew, but really...
So by when did you just say like, okay, actually, you know what, I want to go through chemical engineering?
Yes.
Then when do you...
Yeah, so I'm going there. So for an example, in grade 10, I think maybe...
Disclaimer, I don't have to ask this guy questions. He can just go.
Yeah, no. I mean, but in grade 10, then that's when I realized, okay, maths, physics, and then I started knowing a bit about chemical engineering, right? Then I moved to grade 11, And when I moved to grade 11, there was a Saturday school, right? And I have to name it because really that Saturday school is doing wonders for township kids. So it's called Dimension Data Saturday School.
Okay.
So what it does, it goes Dimension Data Saturday School. So what it does, it goes to different schools and identifies kids who have potential, and then takes them and then just gives them extra classes on Saturdays, right? So I went to Dimension Data. Then when I went to Dimension Data, I got an opportunity then it was a program called Junior Taki type of a thing, you know.
Okay.
So what the Junior Taki is, it's a University of Pretoria initiative where high school kids come there and just experience how Varsity sort of looks like and things like that. So there, one of the opportunities that I had was I then went to a lab, chemical engineering, and one of the guys who eventually became my supervisor, you know, was doing a demonstrations there and things like that, right? And I was like, okay, actually, this might be something that I might consider, right?
Yeah.
So for me, that's when it hit me on what I want to be, right? Before I knew my capabilities, but the only time where it hit me was in grade 11, that actually I want to be a chemical engineer, right? What happens? What do I need to do? Then obviously you get to now look at what you need to, the marks you need to achieve and things like that. But going back to my statement, coming from where I come from, some dreams are bigger than you, right? Yep. So it's a thing of, I want to be a chemical engineer, but really how? You don't know. I didn't know anyone who did chemical engineering, anyone who could advise me, do this, do that, and what. I didn't know even how am I going to fund this chemical engineering thing, you know? Because when I one time looking at those books that the university send, and you look at the fees, you're like, flip, what is this now, you know? So yeah, for me, it was one of those things where, I didn't know if that dream could be achievable. But the time that I knew that what I want to be was really in grade 11, that I want to be a chemical engineer. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I see. Touched on my childhood, touched a little bit now into school. You know, going into varsity, they are like APS scores.
Yes.
Yeah, whatever. I don't know. The S there for APS, is it a score or is APS score? But whatever it is. Yeah. You are great maths and science.
Yes.
You're good in it. But there are these other ones. You have to get a certain mark for English and other subjects. How do you do that? Because you bump them up in varsity. In matric.
To tell you the truth, I mean, once I got in grade 11 and I got into that Dimension Data Saturday School program, I think everything that I touched, you know, everything that I touched really was, from then on, like I was excelling, man. Like even you know, when you're excelling and you can't believe that yourself, this is me, what's happening? You know, every time you just like, oh, flip, this is me, you know. So that's why I'm uploading that really Saturday school. I think it really helped me, you know, it really improved my marks and things like that. So I was sheesh, man. My grade 11 and matric, man,
So let's talk your matric then. How did you do?
Yeah, so for me, in terms of matric, like I think for me, it's true. Matric is a revision, right? I feel like if you've done well in grade 11, once you get to matric, it's just brushing up, you know, those. So for me, matric was really revision, you know, just, you know, but really in my matric year, I really did well, man. I really made myself, my family, the people who really supported me proud, you know?
Yeah.
And I mean,
let's talk average. Let's not talk marks specifically.
Yeah, I mean, I can give you an example, right? And maybe I don't want to.
That's the thing about academics. They don't explain it.
No, the thing is, or what I want to go into again is I want to give a motivation there to a kid watching this, right?
Yeah.
Think about it, man. I mean, I've told you my story, like from where I started to that grade 12, right? My marks were not that good, man. Like really, I can guarantee you grade 9, grade 10, they were not that good to such an extent where I can say, actually, I can do chemical engineering.
Or you can get in.
You can even get in, right? And with how I worked in grade 11 and grade 12 made me realize that actually every child has a potential. Yeah. And you find that sometimes most children are judged based on their marks and not their potential. You find that some kid really is not doing well in terms of when you take their report, can see this kid struggling, right? But this kid always attends class. This kid always attends Saturday schools. This kid always goes to the teacher, asks questions. This kid is really trying. So what that shows you, it shows you that this person actually has the work ethic, has the potential. And for me, it's one thing or an area where I feel like we need to ensure that we do not demoralize kids based on their marks. Yes. We look at their potential, and when we've looked at their potential, then we build them from there. Okay. Because that's what happened to me.
Yeah, I see.
And to give you an example, when I then got to matric, I was really doing so well, man, And remember I told you other subjects I really, but the subjects that I did well wasn't even super well, wasn't even maths or physics, it was geography. Yeah. Right. It made me a well-rounded learner who can sort of now not say, I'm good only in maths and physics. Like any subject I touched, I was really interested in it and really willing to learn in it.
It became a natural thing, something that you acquired from that you apply to others.
Now you're willing to learn everything you touch. You're just applying that skill. And man, in grade 12, maybe I can explain only with that one. I won't go into marks and all those things, So with that one, I was really honored by the Gauteng Department of Education. Yeah, I think I was honored in that subject, right? Yeah. That geography subject. Like I think at that time I did well compared to Gauteng like sort of student. Like I was the top performer in that subject, right? And what that then taught me, the lesson there, right? Simple lesson there was, in as much as there's things that you enjoy in life, it doesn't mean that you can't be a well-rounded person to learn other things, right? And that's one thing that I always now try and apply in my life. I enjoy science and all those, but if there's anything new for me to do or learn, let me do it. So man.
Damn. Okay, from zero to hero.
I think that was for me. Even today, that story is still fascinating. It's about my life, but every time when I look at it, I'm like, flip, I don't know how I did it. And it's amazing. Yeah, it's amazing.
So for just like someone who can relate your story there, like you shouldn't be hard on yourself. Give yourself a break. Just put in the effort, and then you never know. 2 or 3 years time, you'll be someone. So the guys, they're just following your step.
Yeah, but after that, then there's other lessons, right?
Hey, there were so many lessons.
So many lessons. That's the thing. So many lessons.
When you think you are there's another mountain.
There's another mountain, right?
Another one again.
Yes.
So
yes.
So then, high school done. Let's say, before you went to varsity. How would you explain that period of your life? Just in 3 simple words.
Man, before I went to varsity.
Fantastic. Amazing.
I was a celebrity, man. I'm kidding.
Of course, you would
be. No.
You get acknowledged by
I felt like a celebrity, but really, I wasn't that much of a celeb.
But that's the thing again. Like, you don't know how you may do well, but you don't know what it means to someone that is in grade 8, that is in grade 9, that is coming up like, oh, this guy did this. And he's from township. okay, it means like there's an opportunity for me. You give that hope to people out there who are, who are struggling, and they're like, just like you said, you're from there, and you think about all these big things like, this thing is not possible for me. So now you said this thing is not possible for me, but you put in the work and you achieve that. And then now someone who's like, who doesn't have that motivation, you are that motivation for them now.
Yeah.
You boost them. They become something.
Yes.
So you see,
Yeah.
it's not likely what you did. So
Yeah.
seems like you were moving mountains here.
But another word I can put in there, it was really, I was proud of myself.
Yeah.
I was really proud, man. I don't want to lie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyone will.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyone will. So yeah, seems like you push yourself. I guess like even from primary, then still the same. Varsity, high school. Then you went up.
Yeah.
Then you applied. Where your undergrad? Where did you do it?
Yeah, for me, the only institution I applied to was UP. So,
UP.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So I did everything.
You already knew like
University of Pretoria. Yeah, no, maybe I was. Yeah, but I believed in myself. I guess. But yeah,
but again, like moving from high school going into varsity, like the two environments, how different are they?
Yeah, I think with that's the other lesson that I want to touch on. I mean, I think with high school, it's high school is really great in giving you the foundation, right, of being disciplined and learning those types of things, and also teaching you how to learn and things like that. But I think most of the time where it really hits you when you get to varsity is that varsity, there's no teacher there always reminding you of an exercise and all things like that, right? So it's now a lot of being an independent person, right? Compared to when you were in high school, really someone was keeping track, trying to ensure that at least you are in the right direction. But with varsity is, you get there and you are the one who has to drive your development, right? Yeah. When you are in varsity, right? So I think that was a major jump. Another jump is that high school, in terms of the level of difficulty, it just switches, man. It's like high school, you catch on, but when you get to varsity, you still did well in those maths and everything and all those things. But when you get to varsity now, the level of difficulty in terms of how you need to understand the other subjects just jumps. You
get into a moving train.
Yeah, you get into a moving train, and sometimes me personally, I mean, sometimes I even battle to visualize things, right? Because you are in a module, right? They're just talking about something you've never seen, right? And you just have to find a way to imagine what is this thing, and like for me, that was the huge step for me, right? That some of the modules, when I had to do them, you find that I've never really, I mean, yes, we had our lab in our school, but really, when you get to varsity, it's a different kind of lab. So now when you get there, you have to do all these practicals and things like that. It's your first time and you're expected to at least, really understand those things. So it's a huge jump, right?
Yeah.
So me, when I compare high school again, I think the level of complexity that comes with that, it's really a huge
somehow would you say like high school prepared you for varsity, or like?
As I said, I think
not to that level that you're expecting or something.
I think in terms of discipline, work ethic prepared me.
Yeah.
But in terms of independent learning, right?
Oh, okay, I see.
Where I can just introduce you to something, but I'm not saying don't go and read. You need to read further for you to really understand it properly. But in high school, if I teach you something in class and you understand it, you are fine. But in varsity, if I give a lecture about a topic, I'll just touch on it, but you have to go and do that extra work for you to really understand what is happening. Okay. So high school did, but not to that level.
Not to that level.
Hence this huge jump, and it's an inherent thing. It's not like there's something that they need to do in high school to bridge the gap. And I always hear people say, yeah, you need to do this to bridge the gap, but it's an inherent thing, you know. It's just gonna happen. It's just, you just need to find someone who's gonna, once you go to varsity as a first year, who's gonna make you aware of that, so that once you start, it doesn't become a lesson that you learn after 6 months or things like that. Like you can get head on and say, okay, this is what I need to do, and that for me to be successful.
Yeah. Okay. Super. Then for someone who's interested, before we go into this question, like a great person, high school, getting these hours, recognition and all that, did you uphold that same, like exactly the work ethic that prepared you? Then did it somehow change? Did you have to be like a different person, different beast to get the accolades too, or how was it?
Yeah, no, I think in terms of varsity, in terms of accolades and things like that, I really didn't. So that's another sort of lesson, maybe. A lot of lessons. So the lesson to me was that, man, varsity, I don't know. I feel like it comes with a lot of complexities, man.
Yeah.
And sometimes if you don't have anyone to just prepare you of those things that are about to come, man, you're going to find it's going to be difficult. One of the things with me that I really grappled with was, I was a good student in high school. I got all these things, whatever, and all that. But some funny way, I just couldn't fund my studies. Like every time when I have to pay my studies and things like that, it's a huge task, man. You know, it's like you just sit there and you're like, and how am I gonna pay for this thing? You look at your fees and you look at that and you're like, how am I gonna pay for this thing? And to some people, like really, it doesn't touch them that much, but for me it really touched me. I would always ask myself that what is happening, you know? And where it really hit hard, you know, to me was in my third year. I think that's the time where it just hit me, because I remember during that time, okay, this is gonna, it's a very personal story, but I'll just touch on it just to, you know, give, maybe someone out there is going through the same thing, right? So during that time, I knew, I mean, I always made a plan, you know, to make sure that my funds are paid, you know.
Yeah.
Me and my dad. It wasn't a crime.
Disclaimer.
No heists.
No heists.
No heists and things like that. But me and my dad, we always made sure that we covered that tuition, right? Various ways, man. But not heists and crime. But in third year, I knew, man. I just knew that there's no plan here.
There's no plan.
No, there in third year, I just knew that, you know what, I feel like next year, I'm gonna struggle coming back here, you know? And what hit me was, I remember, man, somewhere, it would have been July or something, July, August or something, when it was properly hitting me, right? And July, and then it was August and September, and then I'm just trying, nothing is coming, you know? And me and my dad, we were trying to make plans, you know, to try and pay for that tuition. And man, we struggled. And I'm working with my dad, you know, in this journey, we are together. It's like, no, don't worry. But I remember there was a time where, man, I just looked at him and I just saw that, you know when a parent wants to do something for you, but knows that, I've exhausted.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I've exhausted. Like, and you are a child, bruh. You're looking at your parent and you are like, you're becoming strong for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see.
That you see that, yeah, that's when it hit me that, yeah, no, you know what, varsity sometimes, man, it's unfair. It's unfair. There are people out there who have huge opportunity to make it, but they can't because they can't get funds.
Yeah,
financial constraints is difficult for them. They have the potential, you know?
Yeah.
And for me, that got me, hence I was where we started, right? The question that you asked about being a man and things like that. I realized at that point that, flip, man, like I'm trying to be strong, but this thing is not working. I'm being strong. Hey, make a plan. What
a man makes a plan.
A man makes a plan and what, but it was not working, brother. And there was a point where really I was going to class, but
you are there physically,
but
your mind is somewhere else.
you know, like, because to give you an example, I added a year, like in my undergrad, right?
Yeah.
And where I added a year was in third year and in that second semester. And where I started doing so bad in my marks, like now when I look back, when I was really doing bad, man, like really, I was just bad. The bad that I can explain was I even got a 0 in some of the semester tests. That was so bad, man. It was during that time. And now when I look back and I'm like, think about it, man. And life sometimes is crazy. I was on the verge of just saying, you know what? Forget this thing. This thing's not making sense. You know, like really, you dedicating your time and all this thing to this thing, but at the end of the day, now you need to consider finances. You need to do, like, it's a lot, man. Like, forget about this thing, you know? And I don't know how I managed to pick myself up, because after that, I think I went home and then we finally found a way again, you know? Yeah, shout out to my dad, you know? We finally found a way and then went back. And I remember when I went back, the first thing that I did was I wanted to be in touch with my emotions. I didn't want to close that area out to say, yeah, it happened.
Yeah.
I was like, I wanted to be in touch that as a person during that time, things were not going well for me. And emotionally, I wasn't fine. And I dealt with it in a manner to say, really, am I fine in terms of my emotions, in terms of, because during that time, remember, once you're going through that phase, even your mind, the type of things that you think really just change. And now you need to bring yourself back. So before I went, I brought myself back, you know, and I was like, okay, this is a new start. Things of last year, you forget them, you continue, you found a way. Yeah. Now you just have to, you know, pull your way through, you know. And then after that, man, my undergrad things went well, man. Like really, I became proud of myself when I overcame that, even though there was still financial constraints in there, but in terms of the mindset of not letting that thing get to me was the victory that I achieved, you know, because I think for the mere fact that it got to me was maybe where I felt somehow, but for me, now learning lessons of not letting it to get to me, then that was the victory for me where, I made it from my undergrad. And looking back, man, it was a nice journey, man. And the degree that I did was fun. It's fun and, you know, there's a lot to learn, man. You know, so yeah.
Yeah, this is great. Then if you, like, then how do you get through with, like, did you get a bursary at some point, or?
So, hey, man. So how I funded my studies was normally I would apply, right?
Yeah.
I'll get a partial bursary there, things like that, and all those things, right? But now, luckily, when I started now doing my fourth year, me and my dad, like at his workplace, you know, he was able to at least motivate for me to get a bursary there.
Okay.
So that's what really helped me, you know.
Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah.
Then during your undergrad, did you move from undergrad, postgrad, like masters? Then how did you convert to your doctorate?
Interesting story. Man. That one. So here's what's happening, right? Remember, I added a year.
Yeah.
So fourth year was really like third year, you know, things like that. Finishing off modules, things like that. Then did my fourth year, right? Then when I was doing fourth year, obviously you have process synthesis, design, all those things, standard, right? But now there's this module they call it UP. It's sort of like a research, you know, it's like you are final year, but also do something along the lines of research, right?
Yeah.
So now I choose, remember the guy I told you, grade 11?
Yeah, I was helping with math. And, yeah.
I see his name, first pick, man. His name is actually Professor Evans Chirwa, right?
Oh, okay.
See his name there. I'm like, okay, you know what? I want to work with this guy. There were topics that I didn't even know what the topics were. Selected them all because now what would happen is you can vary, right? Like you can say, okay, I like this topic but this different supervisor.
Voices, yeah.
But for me, 100% chance.
Like,
I wanted to increase my chances. You know? So I'm like, yeah, Professor Evans, like this, like that, you know? Then finally, I got to work with him, right? So when I was then working with him, we were working on a nice project. So he's an expert, right, in advanced water treatment. So now he gave me like a project to do experiments, you know, lab. And during that time, I was working with microbes. It was the first time I was working with microbes, right? And I was like, hey, man, this thing is very fun. You know, I'm enjoying this, right? So now, remember, it's my final year, right?
Yeah.
I finish, and then now it's like, okay, what do you do? Do you go to work and, you know, things like that?
Studies,
yeah. So I remember during that time, I had interviews and things like that, right? After that year, I was doing my honors, but I had interviews and things like that. And then there were, you know, offers there and there, what, and things like that. But I was like, you know what? I'm enjoying this research thing because at UP, how the honors is structured is coursework, right?
Yeah.
So, but now, when I was doing that coursework, I was still at least continuing with some of my experiments because I was done with undergrad now. I was doing honors, coursework. But I was like, you know what, let me do experiments there, going interviews and all that. But I was like, you know what, let me stop this interviews thing and then continue with my experiments.
Yeah.
So that's how I did the full transition to say, you know what, I really want to do research now.
Now you want to do work. Like, what is your grandfather saying? Like, hey, this man needs to start working anywhere to continue with school.
I don't know what they were thinking because they never voiced it out. But maybe they were looking at me, look at this one, we struggled, you know, all these fees and all that. Now it's like he's going to school voluntary, you know. What's happening, you know? I would think maybe that's when they were looking at me, you know, that's what they were thinking. What is this boy doing, you know? But really, I think one thing about me, if I make my mind, it's a done deal, man. I was like, you know what? I don't care about all these things. I just want to do research, you know? Yeah. So I continued with research. When I did honors, I was doing course. You can choose either you want to focus on coursework, then you focus on research on your masters. But I was like, you know what? Honors, since I'm here, I might as well do experiments and things like that. So that's how I went about it.
Okay, super. So back to back.
Masters,
then doctorate.
No, it was really back to back. And how it was back to back is, for me, let me tell you, right? if you're doing research and you're doing a research project where an answer is there, that's not that's not research, right? Because what it does, it takes away from you also the idea of, when I'm doing this experiment, I'm trying to figure something out that in literature, it's not there.
It's not there.
Right?
You're making out your name again.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. Or even if it's there, but remember, research is about expanding the knowledge that is already there.
Yeah.
Right? Once a research is predetermined, like, okay, do this research and, but the answer is there.
This is the outcome.
That's not research, right? Me, with the supervisor I was working with, the research that he does, it's a research where he doesn't even know the answer, right? And when he gives you the project, it's like, look, man, I don't know what's happening in this project. When you'll come and tell me what's happening, and then we can discuss and see if really this makes sense and the results and things like that, right? So what then started to happen when I was doing my research, because now I'm figuring things out and they are not in, I'm expanding on the knowledge that is in literature. I was like, actually, I'm enjoying adding a body of knowledge into this topic that we are researching on. And for me, think about it. I started doing research in my final year. I started, and then I also did experiments and research in my honors, right? From then on, man, it was a drag, man. You're like every time you want to see yourself in the lab, you're doing experiments, you publishing, you're doing that. It became a drag that I really enjoyed, to put it like that. I really enjoyed. So now, when I went to masters, maybe, I don't know, I'm not going to go into detail on the research that I did, but I just want to give you an example in terms of why it was like that, right? Final year, right? I did a study where I was using peg-bed reactors, but those were biological reactors, right? And I did it for treatment of heavy metal wastewater, right? Now I get introduced to biological type of things, right? Then I go to my honors, right? Then when I go to my honors, now I start to realize that actually these microbes can do a lot of work, right? Then my supervisor comes in as like pitches an idea. It's like, okay, Mpumelelo, I have this idea. This idea is that let's try and get wastewater, right? That is contaminated with platinum group metals. Okay. And let's see if these microbes that we have in our lab can't really recover those PGMs, right? And then see if once we've recovered it, can't we then reuse that product for something else, right? Now I'm like, okay, it's fine, go to the lab. To tell you, man, working with microbes is very difficult because microbes don't do whatever you tell them to do, right? Now you have to sieve through all these thousands species to find that microbe that will be able to do the work that you want it to do, right? Because you find that you have, in a midst of colonies, maybe that microbe might be overcome by those colonies. But now when you selectively isolate them, you can get that specific microbe that can do what you want, that can do the work that you want it to do. So finally, I've isolated and I get this microbe and it's doing whatever we want it to do, right? Now, remember, I'm doing honors and all that. Now I'm going to masters. Now, when I go to masters, I do the application now because now I can recover the PGM I recovered was palladium. So now I can recover palladium, right? And I can create nanoparticles out of those things, Now I'm like, okay, what can we use this thing for, right? I'm in my masters. there's no way you can think of going to work and all that when you're doing such interesting stuff, right? I'm like, okay, what can we do with this thing? And then at that time, what I started with, I was like, okay, let's get water that's contaminated with heavy metals. So one of the really work that my supervisor is celebrated for is also working on systems that are heavily contaminated with chromium, right? So now we found a way using those palladium nanoparticles in order to convert that toxic chromium 6 to chromium 3, right? That's what I started with, right?
Yeah.
Now supervisor comes back again. It's like, hey, man, now we need to think of energy recovery, man. You know, the world is going there, you know. We need to look in terms of energy recovery and systems, biological systems that we can maybe work into, you know. And then he had looked into a technology that is still being developed even now, right? And it's called microbial fuel cells.
Oh, okay.
Right? Now, when you start doing that, I'm like, okay, let me take this. We call it biogenic palladium nanoparticles, and apply it into that system. So now what we did is we took those nanoparticles and applied it into that systems to make them a catalyst, like a biocatalyst, right? And then we found that, okay, it actually improves the process, right? But now what started happening remember, in my master's, I'm mostly dealing with these nanoparticles. I'm not in the other space, but now I'm starting to work on these microbial fuel cells, these MFCs. I'm like, actually, I can do a lot here, you know. I'm looking at literature and things like that. I'm like, okay, I can do a lot. Now it's a matter of, okay, I'm not gonna stop at my master's. I'm going down to PhD because I wanna look into these microbial fuel cells. So now I started doing a lot of work on MFCs, and that's the work I'm really sort of proud of, like, and that's where I got my PhD on. It was on MFCs.
Oh, yeah.
So you can see, man, there was no way I was gonna go anywhere, man.
Yeah, and the thing is about it is like, I like how everything is aligned.
Yes.
You see.
Yes.
Yeah, I like it, like ignites like interest in something else, like a spark. Next thing. Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, I just like how it followed onto your PhD.
Yes.
Not that I'm not gonna do my masters and do PhD after this, but yeah, it's very warm in here. Yeah, and I just the way you talk, I can see this thing like just some memories like you love this thing, like.
Sheesh. Long nights in the lab, man. You know, research is nice, man. Research is nice, and I'm still doing it. It's not like now because I'm in a professional and industrial space that I've forgotten about the research. I mean, it's still in my veins, you know.
Yeah, I see. Like you know, we I guess this I was gonna ask you this. What is the highlight of your academic journey? This has to be the highlight.
Yeah, no.
The way you unfolded on it, you unpacked it. This has to be it. There's nothing that can beat this one. Yeah.
Yeah, no. And maybe the main reason why I got a PhD was I started delving more into computational modeling of these systems, right?
Yeah.
And that's the work that I'm really proud of, you know. Because most of these systems are very empirical. If you were to build an MFC, right?
Not the sheep, but yeah.
You will need to go to the lab, do all these experiments, right? But what at least as an initial step, we've tried to model the system so that it can assist in terms of if you want to do a preliminary evaluation on the performance of these systems, then you can do that evaluation and using data like biological data, you know, electrochemical data, because the model how it was developed, it's a mechanistic model, right? It's not an empirical way. Now you need to set up experiment and what. As long as you have the right properties, you can input them, and then it can give you an idea of then the extent at which your MFC can perform, right? So yeah, so I think that work is the work that I'm really, really proud of.
Yeah. Now, man, you have the what do they call it? The highest academic. I'm looking for the right okay, let me just put it in a simple one, but there's a name for it. High academic qualification.
In QF level 10, did you want
No, I don't want that. But there's a specific name on it. But anyway, you have the highest. You have the highest educational qualification or whatever. Yeah. I mean, you still wanna pursue something else? Academically, do something?
Yeah. No. There's things in the pipeline. Yeah. I think for now, what I'm just interested in is the industrial application of the theoretical aspects that I've learned in Varsity during my undergrad for chemical engineering. So I just really want to delve more into the industrial applications, really be more involved into that. And then, then after that, I think some things will come in and be in the pipeline.
Yeah. So like you touched on it, but were you explaining, actually even like on your varsity and your undergrad studies, like someone who is in love, someone who's passionate about going the chemical engineering route.
Yes.
Very passionate about it.
No.
Yeah. But most of the chemical engineers, you ask them, what is chemical engineering? They'll start telling you about, I don't know, I'm in love with science and physics and all that.
I think they should know.
but they don't. So what would you tell them, like, what is chemical engineering?
Chemical engineering is simple, man. You just take raw materials, you convert them to valuable products. Every chemical engineering process that you would have seen, it has, number one, raw material. It has a block, and that block things happen, then you have a valuable product. Every chemical engineering process is that. So chemical engineering is mainly that. You take raw materials, you identify the right processes for you to be able to work on that raw material and convert it into a valuable product that you sell to customers and make money. That's chemical engineering.
Make money.
Yeah, that's it.
That's life.
I mean, and maybe if I can touch on that, right? So in South Africa, we have a whole lot of skilled professionals, right? Whole lot of skilled professionals, and sometimes when I think about it, I'm like, maybe, I mean, even me, I'm guilty of it. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm guilty of it. That we have all these degrees, all this knowledge, but we all sort of want to go to work and, but we have all this body of knowledge where we can sort of cultivate, create industries in South Africa. And maybe, that would be something that I'll also be looking into. I mean, I'm guilty of it.
Yeah.
I won't lie, but it will be something that I'll be looking into it, where we sort of push the narrative to say, in as much as we are, as a country, we are building skills, but we should build those skills to the benefit of the country also.
Yeah.
Not have skilled people who at the same time they will gonna be dependent, right? But have skilled people who at the same time they then gonna sit down and think and say, which industry can I really build, in South Africa? So I think, but I'm not perfect. I'm also guilty of that, but that's something that also I want to sort of, delve in. Right? Yeah.
Okay, I see. Then you're a chemical engineer, and there are like other opportunities there out there, being just not. There are other opportunities there as a chemical engineer. You are not only limited to the energy business or you limited to the industry business. what other opportunities like for someone who studied chemical engineering, they can just go in that direction again?
Yeah, I think as a chemical engineer, I mean, we are a full breed of people who are wanted in different spaces.
Yeah.
And the main reason we are sort of attractive is when you do undergrad, chemical engineering, the first thing that it teaches you is to think in a way of processes, right? And most of the time, with that type of a thinking, you find that we become more attractive to not only oil and gas and energy companies, traditional chemical engineering companies, but you find chemical engineers in the banking space. You will find chemical engineers in the consulting space. A lot of chemical engineers are going into that in the consulting space. And yeah, I think the major ones is the consulting and the banking space, where really chemical engineers are being taken, but really they are not limited to that. Chemical engineers can be found in every facet of the areas. I mean, in engineering. Yeah. But I think that if you don't want to be in the traditional spaces, it's either consulting or banking, where I've seen chemical engineers really.
You are in a traditional space. You're trying to apply what you learned from your undergrad. Try to get as much as you can from the industry. So, what would you say is the hardest part about your job? Consider when you started and now,
Yeah, I mean, I think the hardest part of the job in which chemical engineers are paid for, it's really to think and come up with solutions, right? Because for an example, in a traditional space, right, it depends on what type of traditional space you are working in. So as a chemical engineer, you can really work in like 3 areas, right? You can work in engineering research, you can work in projects, or you can work as a production or technical support, right? So as a chemical engineer, when you are in those 3 different areas, the reason why they pay you is for you to think, right? For an example, if I am in a technical support space, the plant that is there to convert the raw materials to valuable products is there. It's running.
Yeah.
Right? But sometimes things go wrong. Right? And sometimes when things go wrong, people can figure out why things went wrong. But sometimes they can't. And as a chemical engineer now, what you are paid for is to get in there and think in terms of why can't we figure out what went wrong? And we are trained from a tertiary level in terms of how to approach that thinking and that problem solving in order to solve that problem. And in all these 3 different areas, the most challenging part is really to find out if anything went wrong, what went wrong. And again, if there's a problem to solve, the most challenging part is us coming up with that solution, right? For an example, I can give you another example. Let's say you are in projects, right? In projects, most of the time with projects, they want to come up with these fancy things that can do fancy, fancy processes that can do fancy things, right?
Money, cost.
Yeah, all those things that can do fancy things. Now, as a chemical engineer, when they pull you in there, they giving you the problem. They say the problem is this one, and you have to think of how to make it work. And that's the most challenging part about now being a chemical engineer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I found most challenging, I guess.
Yeah, okay, cool. Then talking about the challenges and all of that, like how do you adapt?
Yeah, I think the adaptation comes from the fact that you should be willing to learn.
Yeah.
Right? You don't know everything. Even me, most of the time, that's why I don't like, because the thing is, once you have a PhD, people think you have answers to everything, right? Or sometimes someone who has a PhD, they are not humble enough to say, actually, I don't know.
Yeah, okay.
You know, they are not humble enough to say, I have a PhD, Mara. Hey, guys, this thing, I don't know, right? So for me, it's a thing of now, as a person, you should be willing to learn.
Yeah.
You should really be willing to learn, and I think that's what makes you to adapt. Because at the end of the day, you find that in when you are willing to learn, and also when you are willing to work with other people, because if you would see in a professional space, you are not an entity that thinks alone. Whatever you think affects other people, and if you are willing to collaborate and work with people, you're able to generate ideas that not only consider your aspect of chemical engineering, but other aspect of engineering parts and other aspects of the science part. So for me, the adaptability comes in being willing to learn, being willing to collaborate, Then you are in every environment. If you are that person, when you enter an environment, you will be able to adapt, because you don't come there with a mind of, hey, me, I know everything, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, being able to learn stuff. So let's talk about some nice stuff. What makes your work enjoyable?
Okay, so for me, maybe I'll just speak. I've had different facets of working experience, right? But maybe I'll speak with what I'm doing currently, right? So what makes my work fascinating is that it's not a standard things that I'm doing. So I'm more currently into projects. So I'm working in various projects. So you find that projects differ, right? And in terms of what is needed to address a specific situation in that project needs a different draw in your knowledge, type of in your knowledge. So what then in my day, what happens is I'm working on various projects. So every time when I wake up, I just open and then I check, okay, what are my emails and things like that. Then after that, I delve into the chemical engineering problem solving part, where in each and every project, there's aspects in process engineering that I need to address. So most of the time you would find that if you're working on a project, things like you start getting technical queries that come in, or if there's no technical queries, you start getting things that you need to review. Yeah. Or if there's not things to review, you start getting problems also that you need to, chemical engineering problems that you need to solve. But again, what I enjoy in the space that I'm in is that, as I told you, as a person, you should be willing to learn other things.
Yes, yeah.
So it's not only about chemical engineering. You find yourself now doing other things in projects which relate to the management part of it, right? Yeah. And so that to me, I find it interesting. I mean, that you can be really a technical person, but somehow now you need to deal with people management skills and all those sort of things. Yeah. Right? So the day-to-day looks like that as a chemical engineer. You just get there in the morning, you check what was happening, then if there's anything to review, technical queries, problems you need to solve, meetings you need to attend, and all those things. That's the day-to-day part of it, how it looks like. Yeah. But maybe before we jump, what I enjoy personally, because I'm a pure chemical engineer, I enjoy the problem solving part, right? Mm. So what I do in the morning, I finish all the stuff that needs to be done that are not related to problem solving. So very fast.
Admin stuff.
Yeah, very fast. No, very fast. I'm very quick. If I answer emails very fast, then when I come now to really solving an engineering problem, then that's where I really take my time. So that's what I really enjoy.
Yeah.
Okay,
cool. Not gonna mention things that you like about your work environment. You just touched on it.
Yeah.
Well, just give me one thing that you say I I don't like about my work environment?
Let's see. I don't know, man, because for an example, right?
Yeah.
I wouldn't say there's one thing I don't like about my work environment, and maybe let me clarify, because I don't want to seem like I'm running away from the question, right? The main reason why I'm saying that is because I always wanted to do this, man. Yeah. Chemical engineering is my thing. Like, I just didn't wake up or parents forced me to do engineering and all. It's me. It's my thing, it's right? Thing. So for me, I really enjoy this life, man. It's like maybe it was chosen for me or what's happening. I don't know, but I really enjoy it. Yeah. No, so yeah, there's really nothing there that I don't. Yeah.
So at this moment, like, what is your career progression? What does it look like? You're gonna grasp a lot of stuff like in your environment at the moment, and then where are you looking into?
Yeah, I think for me is to grow in the technical space. That's one thing.
Yeah.
But again, what I'm looking into is obviously to further do research, right? That's where my aspects are, my sort of career progression. I have it in terms of my view to grow in the technical space and also to further do research. Yeah. So yeah, that's where my prospects in terms of progression are looking like. Yeah. Maybe one day, I mean, in terms of looking into management and all those things. Yeah. Those are things that are really, really far. For now, I just want to hone my skills. And then, once I'm done with that, then we'll see what life is.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, like looking into the industry, what mistakes do you think the junior engineers are making?
Yeah, I think the most fundamental mistake, I mean, you asked me a question, what was my career progression? The answer I gave you was, I want to grow in the technical space.
Yeah.
Maybe for some people it works, but for me, what I've seen as a mistake that happens is you find that you are a young engineer. I mean, I'll speak in the only thing I understand is engineering, so I'll speak in that perspective. As a young engineer, remember you are like a fine wine, if I can put it like that. What I mean is your skills grow with the amount of exposure, the amount of work you've done, and also the amount of years you've put into your technical skills, right? So I feel like most of the time what happens is people want to jump stages, right? Unless if really engineering is not makes sense. But if you are a young professional in the engineering space, what you need to be careful of is not to jump steps, go through the motions of applying yourself in terms of the technical skills, do the engineering work that's required. And then once you've gotten to a point where you've developed much knowledge and gotten enough exposure, then that's when you can move to the next phases. Because now what starts to happen is we know you as an engineer, right? But you've skipped steps, right? And now we have simple things that you would expect an engineer to know. But you are struggling. Why? Because you skipped steps. You see? And now what starts to happen is once you do that is even if you move further up, most of the time engineers, when they move up in the aspects of engineering. Now you have to lead other engineers, but you're not a good engineer. Now when I'm a young engineer and I look at you, I'm like, who's leading me, right? Yeah. So the mistake that really I've seen young professional engineers maybe sometimes do is try to skip steps.
Okay.
And I think, it should be avoided that, I understand, we want to, it's the current maybe part that we're in where you want to see yourself very fast being somewhere, right? But engineering is one thing where you really need to put in the work before anything else. So, yeah.
Yeah, it will be then. Okay. Yeah, see, then let's see. What's next for Doctor?
I think for me, what's next is to enjoy life. I think I'm doing academics, all these things and all that. Nah.
Okay, academics aside, this point is academics aside. What else are you doing then?
Oh, academics aside?
Yes.
Flip. Really, there's not, I have hobbies, but I don't have anything other than engineering or academics that I can say I'm doing, right? But I have hobbies, and I think I've told you I enjoy music. So what I try and do is learn instruments, Yeah, one instrument I've tried to learn is a saxophone. Some people say I'm good, but I don't believe in that. I still have some more work to do.
You know what? Play for people that you don't know.
Yeah, then maybe I'll see what's the reaction.
Because people that you know, they will tell you, you are great.
You're great.
Until you're out there, you know.
Yeah, then I listen to my recording. I'm like, no, this is not on, But yeah, enjoy that. What other hobbies? Oh, I just got introduced to painting now, Yeah, do a bit of painting. Think I'm becoming a Picasso there. I don't know.
You're pushing it. You're jumping steps now.
I'm skipping steps now, making a mistake.
You're skipping
steps. Yeah, but yeah, I think most people find it weird, but really my life has always been about engineering and research. So
but again, one time we spoke, you have some knowledge about like investment stuff, even though you're studying and all that, but you're quite knowledgeable about it.
Yeah, how can I put it, right? I feel like as professionals, right, we also need to make sure that we are savvy when it comes to money.
Yeah.
You don't want to work 30 years and...
Like you said, you want to enjoy. You don't want to pay for something for a certain day. Go somewhere.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So I think every professional, man, you just need to know how money works,
Yeah.
Even though you're not gonna be an expert in it. I'm not saying be an expert, but at least just know how money works, because you are a young professional, you are working in the space, you making money. Yeah. So at least just know how that money works, so that you don't work for 30 years and things like that, and you have nothing to show for. So yeah, I'm not gonna say I'm clued up, but really I try and pay attention to those types of things.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. This is, like I said, this is the longest I have shot. So yeah, just to close it off, I'm gonna pull out 3 more cards again.
Okay.
So yeah, let's see from this deck now. 3 more.
Let's see that. Maybe let's take this one.
Okay. Okay, let's see. 3. Did you have a chance to be kind to anyone today? You see, now it's a reverse.
Hey, it's a reverse. What's happening? Yeah, I had a chance to be kind,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not gonna. That was the question. I'm not gonna ask anything further. What is the best gift you have ever received?
The best gift. No. I think the best gift I've ever received was from my grandmother. Yeah. No. I was going to Varsity and I needed something to pack my clothes. Yeah. And she bought me a nice case, man, and it's still rolling even now. When I travel, I use that. So yeah, it's a special traveling case for me. So,
okay. Let's see. Yeah. Last one. if you could change one thing about your parents, what would it be?
Nah.
It's a kid's vision.
Yeah, nah. There's nothing I wouldn't change. I think they did their best,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can see how it turned out. So I think they played their part. So there's nothing I can change there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, any last words? Some wise words for listeners? Watch. The guys who are watching the episode. So.
Yeah, I think. Thanks, Greg, for inviting me. I think it was a nice conversation, and I like the podcast in terms of the fact that it covers both aspects of personal and professional. And I think my last words would be in how I've told my story, in a way that I've told it. Hopefully, there's something that resonates with you. And maybe you can take home and apply into your life, because both these aspects of our personal lives and professional lives interchange. And if you've seen how I've explained it, is that it's not by mistake the reason that I'm here. So yeah, my hope is at least there's something that you can take there. And if you have any dreams, don't ever think that wherever you are, they are bigger than you. Fetch them where they are and really work on them. So yeah, those are my last words. And yeah, there's nothing else I can say.
Yeah. But again, man, thank you for showing up.
Yeah.
There's a lot like we discussed, a lot that we talked about. And definitely, without no doubt, even if that's my thing, even if I can help only one person out there, that is enough. But now we have like this platform, social media. Hopefully it will touch like a lot of people out there, and then it'll make them do something for themselves. So just sharing with me your journey, I really appreciate it. And then from my side personally, I've came to like for assistance, for help. And you've always like been there for me, so I appreciate it.
Yeah,
thank you. And for everybody that knows you or who's trying to know you, you're like just a composed person. You are not much into things, like you're not just being shaken by anything that goes up or down. You just stick to your words, like to who you are. So man, appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem, man. Thanks. Yeah.
Then our viewers there, thank you for watching. And like I always say, show some love, share with people, someone that you think can resonate to this. So please like, share, and subscribe. For me and Dr. Mpumelelo, we are.
Cheers. Thanks.
Yeah,
I've never heard you saying like, comment, and subscribe. I'm like, wow.